And we're back with the Pop Culture Cosmos. It's Gerald Glasser coming back at you here with the Pop Culture Cosmos. Appreciate so much you watching and listening, everyone. Thanks so much. It is truly appreciated. If you can go ahead and give us a shout out anytime you can on social media, follow us at Pop Culture Cosmos. Plus, also as well, if you can, as well, like us, follow us, and subscribe wherever you get us at Facebook or Twitch or Twitter or obviously the fabulous YouTube as well. Go ahead and follow us today at Pop Culture Cosmos. I had a friend who's been on this show regularly stop by and tell me and ask, "Hey Gerald, what about Star Wars? With all this hubbub going on this summer in regards to Marvel and DC and all that good stuff, what about Star Wars as we head into Ahsoka, which has garnered a lot of interest because of what happened in The Mandalorian, which has been all over the map. Seasons two triumph and brilliance gave way to the confusion for many for season three of The Mandalorian. Here today to talk about where we stand with the Star Wars universe. I don't even want to go into what they're planning as far as all the changes because Disney recently made some changes to the Star Wars movie slate, and that's another story altogether. Good man indeed. You got to go ahead and check him out today at the MCU's Bleeding Edge. You know he's got his hands full with Secret Invasion, of course, and so much more. It is the man of true knowledge, Jeff Sloboda. And Jeff, great to have you back, my friend. Just Star Warsing away right here on this weekend, Father's Day.
I know. You know what? I don't own a Star Wars hat, and I seriously pulled off a major fashion taboo here, ladies. By look at how uncoordinated my outfit is. I got a Star Wars shirt on, no Star Wars hat.
Okay, Disney will not mind at all because
Oh
it all
wait,
goes to Disney.
I was about to say for Disney, I'm all good.
Yes.
Everything's gravy, right?
Yeah.
But no,
Yes.
honestly, let's be honest here, Gerald. Um, I think that we've both known for a minute now, and we just haven't discussed it and whatnot, or maybe personally, privately, that the Star Wars has been putting out better Disney Plus series than Marvel has for a minute.
Um. Yeah, for the most part. I will say over the past couple years. Let's go over the past couple years with what's come out. Let's just not go too far.
No Boba Fett not included.
Yeah, okay, because I don't want to go into the Book of Slobo Fett because that's a running joke here on the show. Because the Book of Slobo Fett, and yes, Boba Fett, has totally ruined my ideal plans and ideal dreams of what could be for Boba Fett. Because I know a lot of people like myself were thinking that Boba Fett was the coolest thing outside of Han Solo, and unfortunately Disney and Disney Plus and Star Wars have found a way to lessen the mystique of Boba Fett with his series. And if you mentioned the first 10 minutes, they solve the riddle of how do you get out of the Tarlac pit. And let's just go ahead and talk about some other things. Like Kenobi came out last year. It was okay for what it was. Although, again, as I told Melinda Barkhouse Ross on her show many times, it's the battles between Kenobi and Vader were, you're just like, okay, I'm going to leave you for dead and just walk away and think it's okay. Yeah, there you go. So, yeah, those outside of that, the story building was okay, and I enjoyed it for what it was. But the Star Wars series, as you know, man of true knowledge, really hit a high with Star Wars Andor
Mm.
as being one of the best shows of 2022. I've already said it on this show several times, and they're the best of pop culture for this past year. It was there. Outside of a couple filler episodes, it was 10 episodes of 12 of absolute fantastical goodness. Andy Serkis was incredible in that role. Stellan Skarsgård was truly awesome in his role indeed. So everything was going well for Andor, absolutely, as I could see the poster on your back. And then we get into the Mandalorian season 3, which I know a lot of people were kind of upset because it focused more on the Mandalorian side of things and the lore. And people asked for years, I want to know more about the Mandalorians. I want to know about the lore. So they got a whole ton of it. And then when they get a whole ton of it, they don't like it as much. So your thoughts, my friend, on where we stand going into Star Wars Ahsoka later this year?
Well, first of all, I want to thank Gerald. I really do want to thank Gerald heavily because he's the only other person I know of in content creation that's pushed what he like he just said. That's pushed other people, like straight up. And this person, I know you've done it in the personal life too. Gerald, you told friends and whatnot, hey, watch Andor. I know maybe you gave up on it after like the first couple episodes, but go back, watch it, finish it. It's good, right? Like, and I appreciate that. I do, right? And,
It's really
you know,
good.
it is.
It's truly some of the best Star Wars. A lot for a lot of people since Rogue One. I liked Rogue One. I didn't love Rogue One. I do love Andor, and I really think it's one some of the best Star Wars in the past 30 years.
That's a
So
one poster right up there in the corner, sir. That is my new Star Wars wall that I am building.
there you go. Absolutely. So you're all Star Warsing out. I
I'm
do
all
want to
in.
ask you, but your thoughts on what's going on with the Star Wars universe. It's been a mixed bag, my friend. Like everything with Disney lately, it's been a mixed bag.
The Mandal. Okay, so from what I understand right now, of course, I'm not a massive Star Wars fan. Gerald knows that. I'm happy. I'm not. I always like to admit this stuff and put it out there. I don't know all the lore. I rely on good guests and good other creators that come on my shows to supplement me and support me when I moderate these shows. Right when I did my Mandalorian 3-part breakdown recap of the season, I had a whole panel full of people that know the lore, have read the books, right, read the comics, right, to support me. Now I still do my research and whatnot, and I'm telling you right now, Gerald, ever since Andor and Mandalorian season 3, I am all in. Like we're already dedicated. We've already scheduled ahead. We're doing Ahsoka. We're doing Skeleton Crew. I'm even going to do a culty, right? The hell with it. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm going to review every single thing that they throw at us at this point. If we can fit it in, we're going to do it. Because I'm even ordering the books right now. I'm reading the novels. I want to know about Admiral Thrawn, since that's where things are heading, right? Since that's where this Mandiverse is going. And honestly, I got to tell you right now, from what I understand, from people telling me in the Star Wars fandom, it's a 50-50 split basically on how they felt about season 3. It's about 50-50 as far as people just didn't like it or they liked it. Now, I love the Mandalorian stuff. I love Mandalore. I love Bo-Katan.
I enjoyed season 2 immensely. It was one of my best the year it came out, 2021. I don't think it followed up as strong because of again, and it's not because of just the Mandalorian and Baby Yoda and all that. It's just the fact that it just it had to tell the story, but the way it did was kind of scattershot at times, and I really think that it was not for the best. I really think that it made the series okay for this season instead of something that could have really truly been special, leaning off of what is a great season 2.
I thought it was entertaining at the very least. There were, I mean,
Okay.
I get
I
people.
thought it was okay. I didn't think it was great.
No, episode 3 was kind of out there. You know what I'm saying? It really was. It was a really, really. It was really a filler, which didn't even really make sense unless they're going to tie in that Doctor Perishing later on. But then again, he's mind wiped. So what use is he to anybody at this point, right? But either way, seeing the Shadow Council, I loved that. That was huge for me. I really did. And I'm sorry, but like my biggest complaint with the season, very, very simply, was this: the episode, this I believe it was the 7th episode, was outstanding. They crammed so much into it. They did too much. They should have left some of it for the finale, because the finale, it just fell flat for me. It really did. It was a drop off, and you know how it is, Jared, with these series. If you drop off from episode 6 into 7 as your finale, it's never good,
Yeah.
And but then again, I'm biased, folks. I love Katie Sackhoff. Always will, always have, always will. Battlestar Galactica is one of my favorite shows from the late 90s, early 2000s, and her enthusiasm and love for Star Wars and appreciation and pure appreciation she has to be able to play the role of Bo-Katan. I care about those things.
Mm-hmm.
And she vocally expresses to people that she feels that she's thankful
Mm-hmm.
to be able to be a part of the Star Wars universe. I appreciate those things. I do. She's humbled about,
She
by her
is.
role. Yes.
She
And I think
is.
it's great. She's a very real person.
So I ask you, my friend, why do you think it didn't resonate with everyone? Because again, there was so much anticipation for it. A lot of people really, really wanted to get the best out of Mandalorian. In fact, for many people, he was the highlight of his appearances on the Book of Boba Fett. So I ask you, why did season 3 resonate better with a larger audience?
Um, you mean less? Like that it
Well, yeah,
didn't?
yeah. Why
Yes.
didn't it resonate
Okay.
with larger? Because
Yeah,
there's so much mixed opinions on it.
I think it's because of multiple reasons, but I think one of the fundamental ones is the fact that they did go off the path of the first two seasons. They broke from that mold right from jump. They did. In the first episode, you kind of you got a feeling like you were going to get your same old Mando, right? You did, right? You know, right at the bat, you get that huge freaking gator dinosaur monster, right? You know,
Mhm.
and all that. That was awesome. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know,
Yeah.
and then all of a sudden it was this Mando and Grogu jumping from planet to planet. Everything's just quick, 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 what you're used to with that series. Then all of a sudden they just went into a totally different departure with things where they did heavily go deeply into the Mandalorian lore, right? The history as best they could, right? And I believe that they overdid it with Grogu. You've heard we talk. We don't need to get into that. Everyone, I think everyone out there knows Kathleen Kennedy's influence heavily on the series and with that in that direction. There are people who don't. I don't like Grogu that much. I don't personally. He does not do much for me.
I'm wearing a Grogu shirt and a Grogu hat, so I have to disagree slightly with
I've
that.
got I've got the Grogu. You can't see it. My Grogu poster with Grogu and Mando cuddling in the first episode. That I have that poster right there.
Okay. Well, I actually
I
have adult Yoda. I have adult Yoda and baby Yoda, so I
I
should be
like
technically
Grogu.
correct.
Grogu was good in season 3. He's evolved. His character evolved, but it did. He did different stuff and whatnot. He's growing up. And honestly, I think overall, I think that it's people just really have their expectations these days of some of this TV stuff, especially the fandom stuff. It's just way too high.
Well,
They're
I mean, the bar has been set too high, but then again, that's the problem with the Star Wars franchise itself, because everybody had so much of an affection or love leading into Return of the Jedi and how it ended up, and then all of a sudden, George Lucas, a decade later, well, not a decade later, but almost a decade later, says, "Oh, we're not done yet. Let's go back in time. Let's go to the prequels." And you know how, even though they've made a ton of cash, you know how much beloved or not beloved that they are. And then, Disney, they buy the property and they go into it and they say, "Okay, we're going to bring back Star Wars." And the initial interest, $2 billion for the Force Awakens. And everybody thought, okay, this is a Star Wars like movie. We can hang with it. And then The Last Jedi goes off the deep end, and then we get The Last Skywalker, which was abysmal. And then we get Rogue One. People mostly like that. I thought it was so good. I thought it was good, not great, but it was good. Solo, which if you take the first 15 minutes out, is actually a decent movie, but it bombed at the box office. So again, you're getting all these residual returns for the Star Wars name because people still have those aspirations and belief on what Star Wars should be.
the Star Wars fandom. I've noticed is even more fickle than the MCU, and I think it's a timing thing.
Mm-hmm.
They're more fickle than the MCU fans are, right? Like literally, the reason that Solo did the way it did is because of the timing of it. I believe, if I
Mm-hmm.
remember correctly, Star Wars fans were not happy with Star Wars in general at that point. They weren't going to buy in on that. But either way, I've heard the same things you said about Solo. I haven't seen it. Now, I will tell you this on my own part, on my own behalf, I'm going to go back and I'm going to rewatch the second trilogy that Lucas did, okay? That I was not very fond of when it first came out. And I'm going to go back and revisit it. I am. I feel like Andor and The Mandalorian, all 3 seasons of them, dragged me in to the fold to where I want to become a Star Wars fan now, right? At 40 years old, I want to become one, right? Like I'm deep diving. I know more about the lore, Star Wars lore right now than I ever have in my life, right? So I'm going to
Mm-hmm.
rewatch all of it, right? I'm even going to watch the original trilogy again. Maybe I'll even try to force my kids to watch it. Good luck with that. But either way, maybe I can pay them to do it. Because they ain't going to watch it if I don't. But no, I'm just saying, at least for me, and I want to believe there has to be other outliers than just me. And it's not just because I'm a content creator. Where look, Andor just like I don't know, Gerald. For me, I really have I don't I've never dwelled or worried about Marvel or the MCU and whatnot and everything, because why bother? Last year, I got to cover the House of the Dragon, Andor, and The Last of Us back to back to back. And I'm sorry, man, but like, you know what? There is a lot of damn good entertainment out there besides the fandom stuff, besides Star Wars, besides MCU and whatnot. Not to get off topic, it's out there. It's there. And for me, like, honestly, Gerald, I don't want to get meta or deep, but it reinvigorated me in a way, right? To kind of get away from the fandom stuff and cover the more dramatic, serious HBO studio type stuff. And we've discussed this before. But bottom line, I feel like for me, I did enjoy The Mandalorian season 3. I grasped some of the complaints. I grasped some of the issues. But I'm telling you right now, when I did the 3-part recap breakdown, I had big panels, and these were all big Star Wars people, women and men. When it all boiled down to it, they really didn't have that many complaints with the season. The finale, they didn't like that much. You know, I mean, besides that, they weren't like, upset or thought it was terrible. You know, it just there were parts of it they didn't like episode 3. They thought were too many filler episodes. But besides that, I like where things are headed. Do you? I like what what Favreau's plan is, right? And then I forget, what is the other gentleman's name that has been so.
Well, Grand Admiral Thrawn is the key to the future. Giancarlo Esposito's character is going to be something that I think will be part of the Star Wars universe, but ultimately he is going to meet his demise because in a power play, which he's going to be doing against Mads Mikkelsen's brother, as Grand Admiral Thrawn. I ultimately think Grand Admiral Thrawn, as you know, is going to be someone that they're going to key in as far as when the movies get back up and running, when they have movies that cover this time period. Now, not all the movies that they're going to be showing and not all the movies that they're going to display are going to be covering this time period. There's also talk about the High Republic period and other periods such as that. But the periods that they are, this is all culminating to a Heir to the Empire movie or something of that ilk as far as that name is concerned. So yeah, that's all leading into that, but it all starts really, really kicking off with Ahsoka, which is going to get heavily more into Thrawn by name, and obviously may lead him to an appearance, which looks like it's going to appear to all the trailers. Your thoughts on where we stand with Ahsoka before we head on that?
Dave Filoni was the other name I wanted to mention. Dave Filoni has been, he did the Clone Wars, right? And he will be directing this Thrawn film
with many of the characters that voiced many of the actors that voiced those characters actually portraying the roles.
Favreau did Paz Vizsla, right? And what boy wasn't his death epic when he fought those freaking those Praetorian guards, man. That was something else.
So tell me a little bit more about what your hopes are.
Into Ahsoka. Well, you know what? I think that basically what they're trying to do is they're trying to do a light MCU version of they want some of the interconnectivity. They want to live. They want that. They want to infuse that. They see that formula as a short-term vehicle for them, right? With what they've got going on, they grasp that they're at a spot right now where, with what Mandalorian's done, then with what Andor did. Even though Andor does not impact this universe, it's not in the same time realm, right? At that same time, they realize that they want to strike while the iron's hot, and so at that point, I believe, honestly, I feel the same way about the actress. I apologize, why I can't remember her name, I don't know, but that plays her. She, from what I've seen of her interviews, she has the same enthusiasm and the same appreciation and thanks and whatnot and everything and respect for the Star Wars universe, for the lore, for what the films mean.
About Rosario Dawson?
Rosario Dawson, yes. Great actress. A lot of good movies. A lot of good from Daredevil, right?
Not from Daredevil, but from a lot of other stuff. But yeah, go ahead, my friend.
No, she has that same, and don't get me wrong, these are interviews, but she seems to have that same passion. I watched her talk about coming on, the set and realized no one had told her that she was actually going to be shooting with Luke Skywalker, right?
Yeah, she was in Daredevil. You're right.
Yeah, she played the nurse. So either way, and just her face, her talking about what that was like for her to actually get to shoot, with Luke, and everything and whatnot was awesome. And her enthusiasm on its own. I love her character from the Clone Wars. I do. I love it. right? I love the relationship between her and Anakin. I like that. And I think that probably you're going to end up seeing them mix up. You're going to see Bo-Katan probably pop up in the series. I don't see Mando being in there for any reason, but you never know. Could happen, right? But they're going to do some stuff. They're going to throw some characters in there. You might even see Boba Fett again pop up in something. I think it's going to be a great vehicle. I'm looking forward to reviewing it. I've already ordered my Ahsoka t-shirts for the series and whatnot and everything. I'll be doing every episode, and I'm looking at it right now as something that I'm really looking for. I'm excited to review it. I really am. And I think it'll do a great job carrying forward whatever this goal is, whatever plan they have, Filoni and Favreau, to go forward with this thing. However they plan to set this up into this one film, which again is somewhat, the details are a little loose. Why they're only going to do the one film, I don't quite understand.
Well, it all starts with one film.
You're right. It does. That's true. Nowadays, it does, doesn't it?
Yeah.
That is a reflection of the current time period. But
yes.
I like where they're going. I like the fact that they feel like they have a plan. And I think that again, that bounces off of the MCU, Gerald, doesn't it? That we've become like that. We've gotten used. People don't realize we've become used to. The MCU gave us this whole new dynamic where we could rely on plans and futures with these things confidently. They're doing that right now with the Star Wars stuff. I like that approach. I like that they're trying to lay things out and give people an idea where they're going with things. How the interconnectivity is going to work, I don't know. How involved the Skeleton Crew show will be involved in this, I have no idea. We'll have to see. But Ahsoka on its own, the series itself, I think will be great. I do. I think it'll be more well received than The Mandalorian season 3 was.
Well, my friend, it's been great talking to you on your thoughts on the Star Wars universe, but you got to give us a heads up on what you're doing at the MCU's Bleeding Edge before we head on out.
Well, honestly, in like 30 and 45 minutes, I'm going to go ahead and do a Secret Invasion preview. And then we're going to go ahead and we're going to, just like we do every MCU Disney Plus, Marvel series, we're going to review Secret Invasion. We're going to review Loki season 2 on Fridays instead of our main Wednesday show when that comes out. When they drop Echo, even though they're going to drop it in one shot, we're going to review it episodically, right? We will week by week, just like we always do, and take the time. You can take our time. I've already got my panels assembled. People are excited, and we're doing regular reviews now every Friday. So, for instance, we have Casino this Friday. Can't wait for that. We're going to review Casino. Last week we did. What did we do last week? Last week we did we did Super Troopers recently. We did Tropic Thunder last week. That was fun. We did Bloodsport, baby. We got Kickboxer coming down the line. Roadhouse. Can't go wrong. Perfect film. Requiem for a Dream. We did The Shining. And then basically, like I said, we'll be covering everything Star Wars from now on. Whenever, the Ahsoka comes out, we'll cover that. And in the meantime, besides that, every Wednesday evening, you'll be finding us covering Secret Invasion all the way through the series. 9:35 p.m. Eastern, 6:35 p.m. Pacific on the MCU's Bleeding Edge YouTube channel and podcast. We're always live. And on the Sundays, I'm doing as of next Sunday, I'll be doing a 3-part Andor Season 1 breakdown and recap, which I'll, again, be backed by nothing but full-on Star Wars lore-knowing, type guests and creators and whatnot to back me up when I moderate those shows. Tomorrow night, I start my first Monday show, our fourth show of the week. That is going to be titled The MCU Bleeding Edge Report. And that will be wide open. I'll cover anything I want every Monday. It'll be wide open. Fandom, non-fandom, whatever. I'll talk about it.
Sounds good to me, my friend. Once again, that's the MCU's Bleeding Edge. Please go ahead and give Jeff Sloboda some love over there at the MCU's Bleeding Edge. He covers it all, not just MCU anymore, Star Wars, pop culture, movies, and more. So go ahead and check it out today, the MCU's Bleeding Edge. Well, my friend, you've been incredible as always. You asked me, and I always try to deliver when you ask me, my friend. You do a great show, and I highly recommend it to everyone out there. I catch shows all the time on the fly. I know you always ask me to go on. I'm usually busy, tied up. You give me at like the worst hour. So I'm like, but I tell you what, I always watch and I always enjoy the opinions you guys have at the MCU's Bleeding Edge. I will try to make an effort to make it on this summer. I promise you that. I will hold to my word. My word's my bond on that. But I tell you what, my friend, I'm looking forward to more shows with you, more episodes with you, more segments with you covering the world of pop culture right here at the Pop Culture Cosmos.